Good dawning, everybody. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to Community Radio. I am your host, Kim, and I'm back for my little 2-day departure. Thank you for tuning in. Today is Monday. And again, we know that to be Ojo Aje. So today has to do with money. So this is a good day to start a business, to discuss finances, to learn more about finances, or anything of the sort, just anything related to money. Good time to do some money rituals as well. So welcome back. And today is Monday. Also, in astrology, we have, let me do this first. I'm sorry. I'm getting out of order here. Let's check in with some Anu news. Of course, we still have the Anu Phase 1 challenge going on. So if you are a student of Phase 1, or if you'd like to be a part of the challenge, make sure you sign up. You can just go to SaduluHouse.com. As soon as you go to that site, there's a huge pop-up that will come up that'll direct you to where you need to go to sign up. And so once you sign up, you'll be included in blog posts, emails, videos, lots of support to help you get through Phase 1 of the challenge. And this whole point of the challenge is to kind of bring you in a little bit closer to Anu. So if you would like to participate in any of the programs that we have going on, or any of the projects that's going on, it's important that you get through Phase 1 so you be more familiar with the culture. All right. And also in June, there will be a retreat to celebrate the completion of the first phase. So we'll be moving on to Phase 2, moving on to bigger things, and in June we'll be celebrating that. So make sure you get signed up. Also, if you're not a student and you need to sign up, you can go to SaduluHouse.com to sign up for classes. And that it also including the classes that I teach, that I facilitate on different spiritual concepts. There are about 12 classes there, and there are 2 more to come. We've got animal totems, spiritual cleansing, meditation, herbs, oils, alchemy, so many. There's so many that, like I said, there are about 12 classes there right now. So make sure you go to SaduluHouse.com to check those out. Those will help you also through Phase 1 of the Phase 1 of the training. It'll give you some really good basic information on what you'll be doing, uses for water. Why do we use water so much in different rituals? There's a class on that, how to do different cleansings for yourself and why you need to do cleansings. All of that information is included in those classes. You can also check out some services on my website, seriousbitch.com, and I have services on that will help you with money, love, spiritual protection, and blockage removal. Sometimes we get stuck and we don't know what's in our way or how to move it. So if you would like any ritual work or spell work done in any of those areas, you can go to seriousbitch.com and we'll link up and I'll help you through some of those. Well, I'll do the work for you, actually, is how it works. Let's see. I'm kind of still waking up a little bit. It's early for me here. I know for some of you, it's on the East Coast. It's after 7, especially those on the West Coast. I know it's very early for you all, but it's time to get up. Let's get the day going. So we are, just to remind you all, we are changing up the hours for this show on Monday, and I think I caught part of the show that Chief did for me where he filled in and he gave you all the wrong time for Wednesday. On Wednesdays, we'll be here from 9 to 11 p.m., and that's Eastern. On Mondays and Fridays, it's 7 to 9 a.m., and on Tuesday and Thursday, it is from 1 to 3 p.m. All right, so those are our new hours. We'll be sending out information on those hours just to keep you all abreast of it so you'll remember. But it gives everybody a chance to kind of tune in so you don't always have to be listening from the archives. If normally we were coming at you from 1 to 3, so most people are working during that time. But we got you at different times now. All right, so I'm going to go to a quick break, and I'll be right back. As I normally do, to try to play some music to get things going a little bit. So I'm going to play, let's see here. Okay, here we go. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim, and today is Monday. That was Roller Skates by one of my all-time favorite reggae bands, of course, the one and only Still Pulse. That song just gets me going. For me, it's just like a happy song. I don't know. I like the message in it. It just, tells a story. So that song is one of my favorites. But of course, that was Still Pulse. So welcome back to Community Radio. And today's Monday. We have, as far as the astrology goes, we got the sun in Aquarius, the moon in Gemini, and we've got Jupiter in Libra. So we've got 3 air signs today, all air energy today, making this triangle of energy. So as we know, we've talked about the Aquarius sign, which is, this energy that's very eccentric and doesn't stick to the rules and is very inventive and knowledgeable. And then you also have Gemini, which is an air sign, and it has to do with talking and communication and things like that. And then we've got the energy of Jupiter, or Ptah, which is Obatala. So we got all this air energy going on today. So this would be like a good day, of course, for communication, for studying any type of anything that has to do with the intellect, philosophy, astrology, spirituality, anything, So airy people, are very quick-witted, of course, has to do with the intellect. We've got the sun in Aquarius, and we know when dealing with astrology, the sun tells us about the actual core of a person, or the inner, the inner self, or the higher self. It's this, that central energy, or how can I say, like the vitality of a person. It tells you about the core of a person. The moon energy, of course, has to do with feelings and emotions. All right. So, and then, of course, we got Jupiter, which gives us meaning, purpose, and it's related to, again, philosophy, spiritual growth, and expansion. So, of course, again, when we hear about spiritual growth, expansion, and all of this, and philosophy and life, we think about the creative energy of Obatala, of course, because Obatala is related to Jupiter, too. So we've got all of that energy going on today. Sun in Aquarius, moon in Gemini, Jupiter in Libra, all air signs. And we also know from our studies, if you're keeping up, and especially if you have the Shrine and Altar book, the air element is the northern part of our Oponifa, or even when we set up our shrines, the air element would be in the northern part of our shrine. So we would set up incense or feathers or anything, like if you're constructing your altar, these items would be on the northern part of your shrine. And of course, again, it has to do with activation of thought. We know that this is the realm of the ancestors, where we get our spiritual messages. Let's see what else. I think about the cigar smoke, anything that's airy. We can use in that part of our shrine, or even when we're trying to understand our casting. So let's see, what else does it have to say about air? Make sure you pick that book up, by the way, too, because we still get questions about shrines and altars and wondering if we're setting things up correctly. Whole book on it, Shrine and Altars, to tell you exactly how to set up to make sure you're getting the right, make sure you're actually making a connection. Let's see, we also have, like, in numerology, we've got, today's the 6th, so if we add up all the numbers we get, it breaks down to about 18, and then you get 1 and 8, which is 9. And we know that that's a number of, that marks, like, the end of something, the end of the last number. So it's almost like the number of completion. All right, so we got 9. And again, today is Ojo Aje. And you know what? I just thought of something. On Mondays and Fridays are usually the only times I really go over days. And I just thought about it. You all will never hear any of the other days or what they are for, because this is the only time that I do it. So you always hear me talking about Ojo Aje or Friday. So I'll go over this a little bit more if you have your pen out and if you would like this information to talk about the Yoruba days. Of course, there are only 4 according to the Yoruba calendar, but they've also stretched it out to 7 to cover for, the 7 days that we have now. So we got Monday, which is Ojo Aje. And again, it's a good day for financial success. And this day belongs to the energies of Yemoja and Olokun. All right. On Tuesday, we have Ojo Ishegun. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This is a day of victory. This day belongs to Ogun. And so this is a good day for rituals about overcoming enemies or conflicts. And it's also a good day for business and financial events. On Wednesday, we have Ojo Riru. And this is a day of confusion, and this day belongs to Oya. So this is a bad day for new beginnings or any type of major projects. All right. Thursday is Ojobo, and this is a day of fulfillment. It belongs to Shango. It's a good day for marriage, long-term projects, and long-term goals. Friday, we have Ojo Ete. I think that's how you pronounce it, E-T-E. And this is a day of trouble. Remember, Friday is a day that's kind of set aside. We put everything aside on that day. This day belongs to Oshun. So it's not a good day for travel or moving from home or business locations to another. So this is kind of just a chill day. And it's so funny because on Fridays, we usually have that feeling anyway. It's the end of the strong, the last day of the work week. And you do kind of want to just blow things off a little bit and just relax. So this is a day to kind of just sit back. Then we have Saturday, which is Abamita or Meta. I got to look at those accent marks, by the way. And this is a day of evil resolutions. Belongs to Eshu. So this again is not a good day for major projects or anything like that. This is another day to kind of set aside. This is kind of considered the second day of the witches. And then Sunday, of course, we have Ojo Aiku. And this is the day of long life and tranquility. And it belongs to Obatala. So it's a good day for settling differences, long-term planning, preparation of, making amulets and charms, and just a good day for health as well. So you have your 7 days, so you're not just hearing it on Mondays and Fridays. So hope you had a pen to take note and write some of those things down. All right, and our word of the day for today is archetype. And we use that word a lot when you hear us speaking on these shows, archetype, but we never really broke it down that much. So archetype is like a typical example of something. let's see, our dictionary defines it as a recurrent symbol or motif in literature, art, or mythology. An original which has been imitated or prototyped. And in Carl Jung's theory, we have a primitive mental image inherited from the earliest human ancestors and supposed to be present in the collective unconscious. So archetype is like an example of a certain type of, I would say, energy when we speak about Orisha or something. So for example, we have Ogun, for example. And we know Ogun is this acidic energy. It breaks things down. It's this energy of iron and strength. So archetypes of Ogun, excuse me, the sentence is getting to me, would be like soldiers, mechanics, carpenters, pilots, musicians, engineers, anybody dealing with any type of technology. So these would be Ogun archetypes. We also have like the mothering archetypes when we talk about the Iyami or Iyanlas. We've got Oya, Oshun, Yemoja, Oduduwa, Oba. You know, all these different types of feminine energies, all stemming from the archetype of the mother or the woman. So it's very important that you study archetypes. It kind of gives you, it brings, I would say it brings clarity to your purpose, because once you start to analyze your life, you can kind of see your patterns and see where you fit in, you know, and it kind of just, you can almost follow the story to the letter, you know, and see how things unfold in your life and see, you know, the choices that you made, you know, as and kind of line it up with whatever archetype you kind of follow. Like if you are in Ogun energy, you can kind of go through different stories of Ogun and just look at your life in comparison and just kind of see how this plays out. It'll also give you insight to what energy kind of rules over your head, so to speak. You know, without, you know, if you don't have a clue and if you haven't done, you know, had the proper reading to tell you, this will give you some insight as well. The next exercise actually in the training also will help you with this, where you figure out what your soul's purpose is, and it will give you tons of insight on you know, where you're going and what you're supposed to be doing. And it also tells you to compare whatever your energy is with different mythologies in different cultures. So it'll give you a broader sense of what that particular energy is like. It'll give you, you know, different roles. Just like we've got, you know, this energy of money or energy of Oshun. You also have Lakshmi. And you have all these other different archetypes kind of dealing with the same thing. Fortuna, the goddess Fortuna, she has to do with money. But they're just in all different traditions across the world, but they all have to do with the same type of energy, which is abundance and unions and this feminine energy. So it gives you just kind of a broader perspective on just how that energy plays out in different cultures. And so you may find that maybe your life has patterns, I don't know, maybe the Indian culture more so than the African. You know, everybody that is melanated is not necessarily, you know, located, you know, just coming from the continent, or, you know, we were everywhere. You know, we're a universal people, so we were all over the place. So you can find different stories and different traditions. Excuse me. Also, if you have the book, Grasping the Root of Divine Power, when you go to the back of the book, you'll see, before I keep going, give you all the number. I see we do have some callers on the line. The number is 515-605-9862. Just press the number 1 if you'd like to jump in and talk and speak about anything. There is no topic. I'm just kind of, you know, just going with it. I was just thinking about archetypes earlier today and a little bit last night. and just kind of vibing on that for a while. But if you have any questions or comments or like to talk about anything that was discussed in any of the shows, whatever, whatever's going on with you this dawning to help you get your day going, feel free to press 1 and I'll bring you in. But again, I was saying, if you have the book, Grasping the Root of Divine Power, is down with each energy. So, say for instance, if you go to the back of the book, you have the energy of Oya, and he'll give you different reincarnations of that energy, which are Assata Shakur, Winnie Mandela, Hatshepsut, Adelaide Sanford, different people. So these different people kind of pattern or follow the archetype of the energy of Oya. They're really good examples of it. So you can study these people and again, like I said, analyze just different things in your life. Or once you start to read about this is why it's also good to not just stick to one particular culture, to study all the mythologies or study tons of literature. You don't just have to localize yourself to one particular thing, because it'll give you just a broader perspective, and you can kind of see, again, just see where you fit in. Or, it'll give you insight about different happenings in your life. One thing that I learned about, just studying archetypes, because we're saying that this is like a typical example of a person or a thing or a thought or something. So it's like people are very predictable. A lot of us think we're so unique. And I remember when I at a particular job I had, I thought that this was so interesting because I always thought, everybody thinks they're so unique, because you kind of grow up with people saying that, there's nobody like you and, all these things. We all have our individual purposes, of course, our individual soul missions that you are specifically here to fulfill. But as far as personality and things like that, we're very typical. And I didn't see this play out more until there was a particular job I had for a while, where most of the business was about predicting the behaviors of people. And so just in studying patterns of people, we could tell, when would be a busy time, when would be a slow time, what motivates people to buy more things, what puts them in the mood, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what colors excite people to drive more, all these different things to drive more business in. And so I used to think, like, this is impossible. How can you predict, like, when everybody's going to, when people shop the most, because I'm thinking, it's of course when everybody gets off work and, maybe decides to do it. No, it was like in the middle of the day or something most of the time. So, people aren't as unique as we think we are. And there are really not that, no new ideas really. And I kind of talked about this a little bit when I spoke about elements, when I was discussing the elements in creation, and how there are no new elements being discovered. We do have some new ones, like on the periodic table, but they are either synthesized or they're synthetic. So people are still just kind of combining old ones. And so it just made me think about the creative process and just creation in general, because we're now discovering like all these new things in this particular universe. Of course, we haven't really expanded outside of this verse or universe. And of course, there are multiverses, but just within this universe, we're discovering new planets and all these different things going on. But there still aren't new elements being, no new elements being discovered or created, or at least none that they're reporting. I'll say that. So there are no new ideas really. People are very predictable. And so, again, it's like with archetypes, things can be very, we can be very automatic our patterns and our behaviors. And although we think we're making some new decision or new move, or we think we're doing something so unique, we're really not, because these archetypes are embedded in our culture. In particular American culture, since this is a Christian culture, these archetypes of Jesus and Mary, the Virgin, and all of these things, they're embedded within our psyche. And so sometimes we just automatically play them out, just unconsciously, not knowing. And it's because it's so deeply embedded within the culture. Even when you're in high school, of course, you're learning a lot about Greek and Roman mythology. And so these things are constantly reinforced as you're growing up. And we end up, acting these things out just completely unconscious of it, not knowing, anything. And so, especially if you don't really step outside of your culture and discover new mythologies or new literature or anything like that, your behaviors are very predictable. So this is, of course, when you can predict the behaviors of people, you can control them a whole lot easier. So government knows exactly what to do. I think I heard Chief talking about, the whole Donald Trump thing and everybody just kind of being actors on a stage. And it's very true. It's like, because they know how predictable the people in this culture are, they can manipulate and move certain things around to produce a certain action or reaction, Excuse me. So these archetypes have, they're universal, in the imagery and everything. It also made me think about things like the tarot cards. And tarot is something that I never really got into. I'm starting to try to get into it or understand it a little bit more now that I'm into astrology, all these different things. But even in understanding something like tarot, you have all these different tarot decks. And with tarot, you have these symbols, you have the Empress and the wands and the cups and, the knights and all these other things. And to really understand what those cards mean, you have to kind of tap into a particular culture. Tap into a particular culture that these archetypes are present within. So that will kind of help you understand those cards a little bit more and what they mean. Why are they using a knight? What culture or what tradition has a knight in it? What culture has a queen in it? What do cups and swords, what do all these things mean? And so if you study the mythology or study the literature and the tradition that it comes from, it takes you behind the energy of these archetypes. Chief also did a show on this where he talked about Dungeons and Dragons, where he talked about the warrior, the magician, the thief, and all these different energies as well. So these are all different archetypes. And so it's so important to learn about them because it'll also help you understand the Orisha and everything a little bit better. Again, if you'd like to call in, I'm just kind of just going with it a little bit this dawning. The number is 515-605-9862. I want to, excuse me for a second, take another quick break to move this incense out of the way. It's choking me. So I'll be back, give you all time to get your thoughts together. Make sure you call in. And thank you for tuning in. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Radio. Thank you for tuning in. If you have a question or comment, the number is 515-605-9862. And of course, that was the late great Michael Jackson. And we were just talking about archetypes. And I was just thinking, even Michael Jackson, he was this archetype of, Peter Pan, or even Krishna, this eternal boy, kind of figure. I forget what they call that in psychology. There's a term for it. But I'm going to go to a caller real quick. This is 703. 703. Greetings.
Hey, can you hear me?
Peace. Yes.
Hey, peace. How you doing, Kim? This is Joel.
Peace. Peace, Joel.
Hey,
how are
you
you
doing?
today? I'm good.
I'm good. How are you? How was your morning?
Well, I'm really good today.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Good. I heard you coughing.
Yeah, I had to.
Like you were sick, so I figured to ask.
No, I was actually burning an incense, and my door is closed because it's school time around here, so everybody is kind of noisy. So I had the door closed. This incense was just getting to me. Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. Yeah. No, I was listening to what you were saying, but I had a question. Just, I know you had a particular topic, but this is just about when you're having kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, regardless if you're married or if you're just you find someone that is worth that type of commitment with, and y'all have kids. When we speak of like the ancestors coming back, and you're essentially kind of like mixing two bloodlines, her bloodline and your bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So who would determine on which side of the family, from her side or my side, will be the ancestor that reincarnates in that child?
Yeah, that's
now,
really
I did some.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was looking into like some ceremonies that they have, and some cultures and stuff where they have, it's not really like a baby shower, but you get that one of the elders of the community will be staying by, really close, I guess, their spiritual leader. Well, and he will perform the ceremony. And just different cultures would do different things. Like they would speak to the baby and ask the baby the question,
right.
Are you the one? And things like that, really deep stuff like that. I was just like, oh man, like what is it? Like I was really interested in it. So if you don't have that person that's able to divine at that high level to determine that, I mean, to a large degree, I mean, within the family itself, right, you should be able to tell, between the man and the woman, y'all have that communication to look at the child and say, okay, yeah, that's definitely a great aunt, or somebody, even somebody new. I know Chief was speaking about that as well. Not a lot of new, souls or reads or, are coming back at this time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even with that process, but like just point blank period, a man and a woman come together, they're feeling each other's vibes, and they just have a child, and like on who blood side was like,
Yeah. Really good question. We've talked about this a time before, and I, just from being here and studying Yoruba culture a little bit, I know that there's a reading done or a ceremony called an Esentaye, I think is how you pronounce it, where even 3 days after the child is born, there's a reading and everything done, so everybody in the community actually knows who the child is, know what they came back for, what their mission is, what they're supposed to do, so that everybody, not just the parents, but everybody in the community itself can kind of support this child's rearing. And so, I think that's so awesome because, like I said, it's not just your parents. We hear that saying that it takes a village. But, in a close community, more people have hands in rearing a child. So it's like everybody knows, who that child is or who that ancestor is and what their purpose is, so they can all be supported. And then there are different readings done at different stages of development as the child grows, to make sure that they're still on the path, or and then I think there's one even done once so that the child will be aware of it, because it's not told to the child initially, or whatever. But it's so important that even just in mating, because that's something we don't do here in the West. We just, we pick who we want and we like them and we get together.
Yeah.
We don't really, whether the families get along or not, it's not even a concern for us. And so that can cause a lot of trouble when it comes to ancestors, because sometimes they will fight over the child. And that can cause problems in your life, when they're arguing and fighting over this child. You don't even know what's going on. But I think sometimes, especially if you do ancestral work, if you're doing a lot of ancestral work, you can kind of speak to your ancestors about it and find out. Or like you said, you can even just almost look at the child and see which side of the family the child really kind of takes after the most.
That's my youngest daughter. Yeah, my third child. She's like, man, if she's not my wife's, like, grandmother, is so creepy, man. The way she crosses her legs, like Miss Lottie Bell, everything. My child, she's like, you gotta admit, when you look at her and see how she acts just like my wife. My wife acts just like her mom, and her mom acts just like, her grandmother, Lottie Bell. And it's just so on her. And I'm just like, yo, she's definitely, if she's not, like, either her coming back, she's definitely from that green, that green bloodline, that's their last name. So I was just like, man, that's definitely not me. Now, like on my side, per se, that's I'm like, man, that's definitely their child. I just got to do the best raising there. What's coming out, what's popping off on their side, so try to do my best. That'd be my job.
Yeah.
In a way that's community within family itself, right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody other ancestor come in on somebody else's side, and then you help nurture. Try to be that person that nurture that side. That's a link. That's a bond, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I was going to ask you, has anyone done like any type of divination or just any type of ancestral communication to see if she is in fact that energy, or has she reincarnated? Sometimes Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, because sometimes, when we have such a strong connection to our ancestors and you're doing that work on a regular basis, like sometimes there are ancestors that you can't reach sometimes. And it could be possibly because they've reincarnated already. They're somewhere else. And sometimes you'll get an image or something of who they are, or where they are, or who they reincarnated as. You know what I mean? I've actually had that experience once before. So that's what I was going to ask. Have you tried to see if she has reincarnated, or if your daughter is in fact that energy?
No, I haven't. Because I haven't dealt in that level of ritual and stuff like that. I'm fairly new on this side. But it's like, I understand it. It makes sense. That's why I want to just like start, kind of following those steps and finding individuals. But no, I haven't reached the level to, I'm still in the phase 1 course.
Yeah.
And learning how to get everything set up. I just have my altar set up too.
Okay. Small, definitely. Like, I would say the most important things when you first start learning about this information is to set up your ancestral altar, and of course your your own personal altar. But your Ori and your Egun are like, so, to me, the most critical things to work with initially, before you even get to any Orisha or anything like that. Like, those two energies, you can do so much with just those two energies. Just those two.
Yeah, that's actually
so
what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, so definitely.
As far as like with my Ori and things like that. Yeah.
So I would definitely, if I were you, get that set up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, from my understanding, it's like where, right, you have to strengthen your ori first before you think that you're able to handle or even speak to or invoke these particular other energies to do what it is that you need to do, or give you the formula to do what you need to do, and the reality that you're perceiving. So I understand that. So I'm like, yo, it's kind of like you got to body build, you know, you got to get some muscles up real quick.
Right.
And then that'll have you to have enough ashe to be able to, you know, order or command, however you like, you know, one of these energies to do what you need it to do.
Right.
That's from my understanding, from ori to head, and then from head, you're selecting the particular archetype of the consciousness that you want to embody to get something done.
Go start
am I understanding that right?
You are understanding it right, yes.
Okay, brother, I don't want to help me with that too. It was like, he dropped gems on me when we first started talking, and I was like, yo, I understand that, because that's what I thought. So he was like confirmation. I was like, okay, yeah. So I was thinking right. I was like, all right, so I'm just going to build right here real quick. You know, I ain't going to try to summon anything else up real quick. You know, let me go ahead and start with push-ups.
Yeah, because if you think about it, when you think about your ori or your head, it's like so many people just over generations and over decades and centuries, people have been feeding Orisha. You know what I mean? So the energy, their energy is there, but who's been feeding your Ori? You know what I mean? Who's been giving that energy? So I think about it like that. It's like you were saying, build up the muscle. It's like, so you need to clean and feed, you know, clean and feed to build that up, to make it strong so that you can communicate with it, so that you can get that connection. So I think what you said about, you know, building that up and strengthening that muscle first is so important. So important.
And also like looking at like who you are, and you know, which ancestor are you? You know, you look back to your lineage and see like a great uncle or something like that. That was just like totally you, and you're like, yo, I would have worn something like that, or like, yo, that's like so me right there.
Have you found
I identify myself. No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
That's why I've been rapping with my my oldest brother. You know, as y'all say, the SU or the, you know, he's just dropping information. Like lineage to me, like I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that is. Okay,
yeah, the record keeper. Yeah. He knows
so
everybody.
As far as he got back, he was like, you know, our people was like part of some people out of Nigeria, and they were tied into the Oyo Empire or somebody like that, and I've been researching that a little bit.
What did you find out about the Oyo Empire?
That's what my older brother told me. So you know, I started looking into that. So I don't know how, and he had mentioned a couple names. So I have to look them up. But yeah, I don't have them on me right now. I have them written down at my desk at home.
Okay.
So yeah, I was like, man, okay, let me look these names up. And that's something that because he went away when we were in, you know, I was like still one of the youngest in the house, and he moved out and went away. He went to Atlanta. He lived in Atlanta for a while. And then I think he came up here in Virginia for a short second, then back down to Florida. But he did that for a while. He was away for a while, and I remember him coming back and having conversations with my pop about, you know, our background and stuff like that. And him and my pop got into a huge disagreement. And then we didn't see him for a while after that. And then he came back. So we all kind of reconnected with him again. and just finding out a lot of information is really wild. My family is like, it's changed a lot. Found out that my mom had another child, you know, from another man. And my brother Aaron is a half brother. You know, and my dad, when he got into the church, he named everybody biblical names, like after he got into the church. So I think starting from my brother Aaron, started with Aaron. It started with Nate, and from on down it was Aaron, Nate, Sarah, my sister Sarah. No, Aaron, Nate, then my brother Daniel, then my sister Sarah, then me, and then my sister Raquel, which was different because my mom let my sister name my sister. My mom let her daughter name my sister. You know.
So what did you find out about yourself? Yourself, since you all were named after all of these, since you all have these biblical names.
Yeah,
that has a lot to do with your story as well. The book of Joel in the Bible. What did you find out about it?
The book of Joel, he was like a minor prophet that was somewhat like of a radical, but not quite like a John the Baptist. And he was a little different. And he was just outspoken about, you know, the forecoming of the Christ.
Okay.
He went ham, as they would say back then. That's what I found out, and that you know, he had a particular purpose for speaking about, you know, just the forthcoming of Christ. And I was like, okay, so at least he's an outspoken person. Regardless if I understand the time that this particular energy was, you know, created in. So, yeah.
So how do you think that parallels with some of the things that go on in your life or have happened in your life, or even your purpose?
I think the rebellion kind of part is part of my purpose in some sense, but isn't that quite in everybody though? You know, at some point they gotta realize the state that they're in is not a good state, and find out that they have power to manipulate the state that they're in. It's not a good feeling. Like, man, I could have been doing this the whole time. Like, you know, I was doing a lot of things out of order. So it helps you get on your path to start understanding that. That way, I'm starting to see like particular like things that I do that can help me, but I can see things that I can do that if I don't utilize can be to my disadvantage. So just starting to utilize, like, just really get busy, and it's been helping. Things have been changing for me pretty good. That's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But that was a question that I had about the ancestors and the child. I was just wondering. I was like, wow. Like, so who? Yeah. I was thinking, like, man, it's gotta be like on her mom's side, like grandmother's side, and they were Greens. Their last name was Green. So
I think
I was just wondering about that.
To set that ancestral altar up and start doing some work, doing some digging, because you've got a lot of tools, you know, at your disposal. You have your brother there, you know, your father's telling you a lot. You've got a lot of information just on yourself to kind of even start to do some digging. You can start, you know, your daughter's mother, you've got a lot of clues there. It's almost like, you know, what she said, we have to start being like this investigator almost, you know, putting all the clues together, you know, down to how you
out the significance of certain things. Like my brother Aaron, it's funny that it started with his name, and you know how who was it that started the Leviticus priesthood?
Oh, I'm not that well versed in biblical things.
Oh, okay. I guess I forgot his name. I know Chief would know. Who I'm talking about? I don't know if it was like Abraham or something like that. He had a couple sons or something like that. But I'm forgetting, man. I used to remember all of that because, you know, my family was deep. You know, and to this day they still are, you know. Like, my group me with the family, I got linked up with them. Man, it's just like, it just be lit. Like, the sacrifice, Jesus saves, like, man, it's lit.
Didn't you say there were 12 of you all?
Yeah, it's 12 of us. Just like the 12 apostles and stuff like that.
That's what I was
people talk about it. I was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. Because I've been doing some study on the numerology of the 12. Because my brother used to always be like, you know, he used to be like, Joe, you're special. I was just like, why? Because he was like, you're number 9. And that was always his favorite number. That's my brother Danny. He go as Natik. So, yeah, Natik, he always tell me, like, man, you're number 9, Joe. You're special, man. That's a special number. And he was like, there's 12 of us. That's a special number, too, man. He used to always say that. And I think he has, like, a tattoo of, like, the number 9 on his arm.
Wow.
And then he got, like, number 12 on his back. He was always passing off those little small gems to me a little bit. And that's my other brother after Charlie.
Okay. Yeah, that just came to me. I mean, I wasn't, you know, raised in the church or anything, so I don't know the story and everything, you know, probably as much as the next person. But I do know, like, the 12 apostles or, you know, the 12.
But I remember, like, the 12 apostles being, like, I think they were, like, the 12 different zodiacs, or in a way it's correlated to the 12 zodiacs. And the different energies that govern those 12.
Yeah.
I guess in this particular calendar, depending on how you're looking at it.
So what would be the corresponding one for you? 9th.
The 9th. I found out that number, well, in Yoruba, I guess, is special to Oya. So I guess that means that coming into this particular reality, I have an energy of Oya, and those are the tools that are kind of handed to me, but also my vices as well, the things that I'm not utilizing. So, and I guess I'm supposed to be on the things I'm supposed to be learning now in this particular reality with those tools of Oya is to understand Oshu.
Okay. Oh, you're talking about the lesson in the class.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I'm trying to write that out for the class.
Didn't you say you were a Sagittarius? Was that you?
No, I'm a Scorpio, actually.
Scorpio, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
I think that was somebody else. Okay. I was just looking it up because I was thinking the 9th zodiac sign or whatever was Sagittarius or whatever.
It's Sagittarius.
But also, I was just finding out that the book of Joel was part of the Hebrew Bible. So it was part of the 12 minor prophets. I know about the 12 minor prophets. But even splitting that name up, you got Joel, or, you know, El, like we said, means the or the God of, you know, particularly you got Joel, Mikael, or all these, you know, with the L on the end, kind of gives you insight to the energy to just even start to try to break the name down or break the word down, Joel. It kind of gives you insight as well as to what the energy is. Yeah, so you got tons of clues. I think a lot will open up for you once you start doing that, communicating with your ancestors. I think you're like right on the precipice of it. It's like you're going to find out a lot of information. A lot of things are going to start to come together for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So you're on you're on the third module of the class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finding
I
out
tried
some
something
good
different
stuff?
this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. I tried out something new this morning. I just been on I'll be talking about them cigars. My friend has been dropping me off these cigars, and I've been trying these cigars, and I'm like, man, I'm noticing I'm liking cigars now, man. Like, what is this?
What kind of cigars? You know cigars are my
what's
thing.
The name
so what are you?
Yeah.
What cigar are you working with?
It's a what was it? Perdomo.
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 I know
something.
the brand.
I think it's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was one of those, with like an LTD, Perdomo LTD or whatever. Has that little emblem on it. But it was nice. I mean, it's nice. I was like, I see what they say about, like at least a decent, grade
cigar.
of cigar. Yeah. I was like, man, that was a nice cigar.
Really? There was a Perdomo I tried. I think it was was it champagne? It was like a special edition. It was the worst cigar I've ever had. I was like, and that has completely turned me off of Perdomo cigars. That was the worst cigar I've ever had.
Oh, man.
But one thing about it, when I did this cigar challenge a while back, and just started to learn a lot about tobacco and everything, is that especially when I'm making offerings or giving offerings to certain energies or whatever using tobacco, one of the things I found out that really is important, or just trying out different cigars, is because you'll start to understand the flavors and the tastes that come through on different with different cigars. So, some have like a really earthy taste, some can be sweet, some have like...
this was like a smoky, spicy taste. It was like smoky, but it was spicy. I was like, ooh.
You have these different types of peppers. You have black pepper, red pepper, white pepper, oak, cedar, all these different things. So I've learned, just with trying out different cigars, which one I'm offering to, say, Ogun. I might try one that has more cedar notes, or with Eshu, one that has like a lot of spice or a lot of pepper. And so you'll start to even get into understanding how the cigar is together. So you've got the binder, the filler, the wrapper. So you'll start to see like Habano wrappers are spicier, or a Connecticut shade, just all these different types of Nicaraguan blends, and all these different blends, and just how they're all blended together. What would be a good cigar for a particular Orisha? I remember when I first started working with cigars, and it was so crazy because I hate these cigars now, but Drew Estate makes a brand called Acid Cigars, and these are flavored cigars, and the wrapper is sweet. So it has a sweet, like some type of something that's they call them infused cigars. So they have these flavors or whatever. But I remember just working with Ogun, I chose like an acid cigar because that Ogun energy is acidic and it breaks things down. But Ogun is also, attracted to Oshun, so it's sweet. So I took this acid sweet cigar to kind of work with Ogun at first, you know what I mean? So you'll start to make these kind of connections. Even some cigars are even named after, you have some, like you have a brand that's called, you have a Voodoo, and they're named, different cigars are named after different ones. You have Dambala, you've got Sacrifice, the Priest, Blood, and all this other kind of stuff. But most importantly, I think like when starting with cigars is that you kind of, try out a lot of different ones so that you can kind of start to develop your palate a little bit. And you can kind of, like I said, you'll start to be able to kind of recognize the different flavors or the different tastes and the different types of fillers and wrappers and things that you like, or what corresponds to whatever energy. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, this could be a nice little something. Like, man, I'm doing some like Chief and like Kim stuff, like Chief and cigars, man. I was like, I'm feeling this, man. My friend who gave it to me, he was like, man, yo, like, go get a, I guess the box that you can keep them in and keep them all,
humidified. A humidor. Yeah. So they don't dry out.
Right.
Because that affects the burn of it. Because that's the one thing. I remember talking to the women's group. We were talking about cigars and things once before. And, just talking about just even how to keep them. It affects the burn. Like, or I think one lady was asking me about what cigar to use. And she had picked like a Black and Mild or something. And the difference between like those type of manufactured cigars and say like a Perdomo or something like what you tried is that those are machine made, and sometimes those have like a lot of crazy. It's more like a cigarette, so there's not a whole lot of tobacco in them, and you can definitely taste the difference. It's more like a cigarette, so there's a lot more chemicals and things in it, whereas like a cigar is all tobacco. It's straight tobacco. There are no fillers and extra little stuff in it like a cigarette. So it's just pure tobacco.
That's why it's a lot stronger too.
That's and it affects the burn of it. That's why sometimes you have to relight and it goes out because of how you store the cigar. But it's pure tobacco. So when you're doing your rituals or something, I would always recommend that you get a cigar. And it doesn't have to be the most expensive ones, because I've tried some that, are kind of expensive or they carry a heavy name like Cohiba or whatever. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't care for those that much. It's just kind of the hype of it all. Especially when you're trying one, especially from the States, because it's not necessarily a real Cuban cigar. You're not getting the Cuban tobaccos. You're getting, the blends that we can get here in the States, which are Nicaraguan or, Dominican or whatever. So it's not a Cuban cigar, so to speak. It's still, so those, you just have to kind of, again, just try a lot of different kinds. And it's a whole culture in itself.
Yeah, it is.
It's interesting. You can find some of the most interesting people, like if you go to a cigar bar or whatever and just strike up a conversation, with someone at the bar, at the cigar lounge, rather. It's a very, very interesting culture behind cigars.
Yeah, I'm going to check some of them out in D.C. We'll get down there to D.C. Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy
it. Brother Charles soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me bring another caller in real quick. I'm gonna keep you on, Joel. I'm not gonna hang you up, so we can continue this tobacco conversation. I like that when we talk about tobacco. This is 813.
Good rising, family.
Good rising.
Yo. Good rising, Anwar.
Yeah, I was driving with my son, taking him to school, 45-minute ride, and I'm tired again. I want to go back to bed. But I'm up. It's dawning.
It's dawning. 45 minutes, that's a long commute to drop somebody off at school.
Yeah, I live on a whole other side of town from my son.
Oh, wow.
Traffic is kind of crazy in the morning.
Ooh.
But I'm still in that learning stage about tobacco. I got in when you do this cigar challenge or cigar week. We were. It just kind of gave me another insight. I know personally, for me, I enjoy a manufactured cigar called Dutch Master. I like the honey ones. Me personally. Those are the ones that if like during the day, if I'm just kind of flowing with it, I'll smoke those. But and those are small cigarellos. You know what I'm saying?
I'm familiar with them.
The ones I found to be, my sister's husband had stopped smoking cigars, just stopped smoking, period. And she gave me the humidor with all the cigars, and it had like multiple cigars in there. And then I got a couple packs from the Thompson Cigar Company over here, and they just gave me a whole bunch of different cigars.
Wow.
That's nice. Yeah, it was like the sampler packs where they have like a whole selection of them.
Yeah.
And I was starting to taste the difference between I was so used to spicy ones. Everybody always said the Cohiba's even the Cohiba is a little bit, it's dry for me, Cohiba. So like, every time I smoke Cohiba, I feel like I'm smoking something real dry.
Really? But, which one? Because there are several different types of Cohibas.
You know, I couldn't even tell you your names. Yeah, you're way better at it right now. But I know for a fact I don't like me personally, when I'm smoking a cigar, I don't like heavy, like hard cigars. I like real medium blend at most. You know what I'm saying? And when during the cigar challenge, you start realizing like the different levels of tobacco from the top of the plant. I forgot what it was called. And it was like the most ashes in that one, and the mid side like the medium, and then the lower part is like the softer, the softer part. And since then, every time I get a cigar, like a real hand roll cigar, I can tell the difference between what I'm smoking. So you know. Yep.
Yeah.
But I've actually like Estrue, I'll give him a Dutch master once in a while. But for Ogun, I usually try to get real hard cigars for him. You know, hard usually. But you just gave me another idea, is getting him something that's spicy sweet. So definitely, it's just like giving Oshun water. Once again, give her an enhanced form of water. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you just gave me went to a whole nother place with that. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I tried. Let me tell you, I tried a Dutch Masters once, and that compared to like a cigar, a hand rolled cigar, to me it was so light. It tasted like I couldn't taste anything. I really couldn't taste much in it. But I couldn't really taste much in it at all. I couldn't taste any of the things in it. I've only tried it once though, so I might have to go back and try one again. But I tell you, another good thing to do is to try these instead of big names sometimes, because they can get really expensive, is to check out a lot of boutique blends. And I'm going to tell you one company that is really good and is really reasonable. And I love this company. The owners are super nice. They always send you they send you good extras and everything. Sometimes they'll put in with it. Cigar Bundles of Miami. And that's the name of their website, cigarbundlesofmiami.com. And they have their own house blends where you can get like a pack of like maybe 25 for a really, really, really good price. Because if you try to buy like a box of cigars, like a good brand, like a Monte Cristo or a Tatuaje or anything like that, you're spending like $200-300 or more, for some of them. So like you can try these house blends, and they have got some really, really, really good house blends where the cigars are almost like a little over, right under $2 a stick. So they've got some really, really good ones, and they're all what they would call long fillers, but they have different blends. You've got Dominican, Nicaraguan, Honduran, all different types of wrappers, Connecticut, Habanos, all different types of wrappers or whatever. So definitely, if you all are interested in cigars, definitely check out Cigar Bundles of Miami. They've got some really good deals on just, I would say go to them, especially for like the bundles or whatever. They're really good for, I like to use those for rituals a lot because they're not as expensive as some of these big brands. Big brands are good, but I'm telling you, like if you start to smoke them kind of regularly or use them quite often, that can get to be really expensive. We're talking like maybe $12, $13 for one cigar, so they can get pretty expensive. But some good brands are. Go ahead.
I wanted to tap into what Brother Joel was talking about earlier, was about the ancestors, how they can't come back. You know, and I've been looking at my youngest son for a very long time. When he first kind of started developing his characteristics, first thing I said is like, that's my grandfather. That's my father's father. And he got that old man soul. He does things that are like it reminds me of my grandfather, right? And I've never got a chance to get any of my kids reading. I want to. I definitely would love to, especially on my 18-year-old right now, because I think he needs some kind of guidance. But those, it's just the attributes. You know, one thing I recognize too, like when you have like my children, me and my father, all in the same room, we have like this. What do you call, like maybe like an aura or a vibration that you can tell, like we're all kind of moving the same. We all kind of walk on our toes. So you see us walking down the street, you just see all like four people just kind of bouncing around. so you know, there's just so many attributes that I got from my father. But you know, my facial structure, I got a lot of my facial structure from my mother. There's a couple things that like my forehead is probably like my dad, but like the roundness of my face I got from my mom. And it's funny how the genetics play, because another part with that is like I'll hang around some of my father's friends and they'll say, "Oh man, you act just like your father. You talk just like your father." and take it out. It's not like I was around my dad growing up constantly. I see my dad like maybe twice out the year for about let's say a month out the year growing up. And it's just funny how that the genetics just work on that, and how certain things appear in the lineage that you tell, like, okay, this is family right here. You can tell that this is a group of humankind running around, toe walkers bouncing around. And we're all toe walkers too. It's funny because we all got like short Achilles tendons, so like that's why I can jump pretty high. I used to be able to dunk when in high school, like straight jam on them. But not now, no. It's fun.
So have you determined, like, just watching your son, do you think you know which side of the family your son, like whose child that is? Do you think he's more that maybe he belongs to his mother's side or his father's side more?
Nah, he belongs to my side more, because his mother's side, like if I look at her family, it compared. Just family attributes. If I look at the family attributes and I compare his character right now with her family, like they're a lot. Like my family is very cool. We don't really, when we do get very intellectual. Like my family side is very like thought. They think before they move. Where her family, like her whole entire family, are like, except for her father's father, like the more calm one, because he's the elder. But like her mother, her sisters, her brother too is he's just like a little he used a lot of drugs, and he still probably does use a lot of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like one of those offshoots. But the rest of the family they're very work off impulse.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my family doesn't even operate. My mother's side doesn't even operate like that. We're kind of happy-go-lucky people. We're very happy and very logical behind it. My mother's side is a little bit more emotional, but my dad's side is like if you're sitting at a table with me and my father's brothers, my uncles, you could tell that like we're all sitting here in like a thought area. This is like you can't just come up and sit on the table and have like lower vibrational conversations with my family. You have to have like some kind of thought through conversation that's gonna make the bills go a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my son. My son, both of my sons. Like my oldest son, he's really witty, so he won't speak too much. He won't speak like he's not like me where I can just sit there and talk. I like to talk. He'll sit there and listen to the conversation and say a couple things, and then once he actually says something, it's like one of those statements of the conversation. Make a real witty statement that just kind of everybody says, "Oh yeah," But he's the quiet one. My oldest son is the most quiet. I think that he gets that from his mother's side. His mother's side very like laid back. Well, I don't want to say laid back. They're just really not. They're not the talkative bunch.
Okay.
They're not the talkative bunch.
Okay. Have you done any ancestral work or divination to see which ancestor he is?
No.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I haven't got to that point. It's funny because taking the class has really gotten me to a point where it's like, a lot of that stuff I learned in the past has just been like, actually I've seen why a lot of the stuff I've done, like all the rituals that I've done, hasn't been connecting correctly. I'm one of those where it's like I've done a lot of rituals and I've never seen really like an outright manifestation of something.
Okay.
I've seen a couple things like going to court or something like that. I've seen stuff like that kind of flow into my direction, but I've never like said, okay, I'm gonna do this ritual here to get this outcome, and that complete outcome comes back to me or comes in.
Yeah. So. So you skip around a lot with different rituals?
A lot of my rituals was based off just Orisha. Like I would go in front of the Orisha, my altar, or whatever Orisha I need to work with, and then kind of work with that energy. And recently I've been doing combinations.
Okay.
Like I've been doing combinations. Let's say I'd always start off with Estru. That's just off the top. I'd go do it. I'd bring all my materials that I'm using for the ritual to Estru. Give them a candle, light the candle, give them tobacco, cigar to get them active, and then start speaking about what I'm doing. Tell them about what's going on. I'd ask him questions about the ritual if I got everything. If it's okay, am I able to do it right now? And and then from there go do the ritual. But it's just recently where I started doing if I was going to do something with Ogun, I would put Ogun and Oshun together, or if I'm doing Ancestor like Egun, I make sure I put in Egun and Obatala or something like that. Depending, I just started doing combinations of it. Back in the days, it was just like I'd go in front of Eshu, or I'd go in front of Yemoja or Chango and just do that. And then another thing I did is I'll take like a couple days to do the ritual, where the first day I'm working with Ogun and Ochosi, and then the next day I'll come in and work with Shango and put them as steps to the whole ritual. So.
Oh, okay. I know one thing I would suggest is pick one ritual and work with it for a while. get like really good with it to where you know what I mean, to kind of build up, like, you know, like we say, like, you know, you build up your bank account a little bit. So you may pick like maybe a money ritual or something, and not just do it once or twice, but do it consistently, like daily or every couple of days, or, you know, whatever. Just work really strong with that one particular ritual for, you know, consistently for a certain amount of time, and really, you know, really work with it. Take notes, note any changes or anything that you do differently on different days, or, you know, maybe like today's Monday, you do some money work today, or start to do money rituals or whatever every Monday or whatever, and write notes of, you know, all of the energies and everything that's going on that certain day. Monday's the day for finances. Did this ritual, you know, and then start to see if you notice any changes, because sometimes I know, like, when you first come in, you're like grasping at everything. Let me try this one. Let me try that one. Let me try it. And then you can't really tell if it's having an effect, because, of course, like in the spiritual realm, there is no sense of time. So you don't know if whatever you're getting is a result of the ritual you did yesterday, or is it the one you did the day before? Was it Ogun? Was it Oshun? You know, you don't know which one it was. But if you work with one consistently over a period of time, I think you'll be able to tell a little bit more, so that when you have like maybe 4 or 5 or something like that under your belt, then you know, like, these are my go-to rituals. I know for a fact, like, this works. This is what I'm going to. This is what I'm doing. I know what to do every single time. So yeah, I would suggest maybe picking, you know, start to kind of work like that.
Another thing is a lot of the rituals I've done, I didn't really get it from like somebody else. I didn't get it from a book. There's a lot of them, most of them. Like, there's certain ones I've done with chief that I've done, and I've done it to that direction. You know what I'm saying? But like, coming into the religion, coming into the traditional system, I wasn't told anything. I was told, don't do anything. If you want to give them anything, just give them tobacco and rum, and don't do nothing with them. Don't feed them anything, or we'll do that. That's how the Ile was community. They were the only ones that were able to do anything for which my guerreros, as they call the warriors. But you know, I had to literally step back. I literally don't try to do too much right now, because I'm going through the class, and the class is giving me so much direction and giving me so much information that I'm just like, you know what, let me absorb this stuff first. And that's the reason why, even like before, I was telling you, I wanted to do the class and act like a newborn baby. I wanted to get the information from scratch, because a lot of the stuff I've acquired, I don't even want to say I've been taught. It's just a lot of stuff I've been acquired through the years, is stuff that I've had to develop and be innovative with the things, which is still good. But you know what? Let me get the basics.
The basics.
The basics first. Get to a good standing on those basics, and then I'm pretty sure as soon as when I start doing my innovation again, because I'm going to do it. It's like I'm going to be able to create my own rituals eventually, and once I get to that point, I have a better understanding of it.
Definitely. And you will get that lesson in phase 1 too, on the basics and what to use. Let me bring in, I think this is Brother Tareen, 904. Peace.
Great rising.
Good rising.
Queens. How y'all doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
That's good. I'm well, man. I'm well. I was just, coming into the last part of the conversation, which is, another excellent excellent topic this morning. And I just wanted to ask a question, Sister Kim. Do you use Obi in your everyday situation? Like, can you do that? Like, carry Obi around everywhere, and just, when you come to a question, you can consult Obi. Is it like that? Can you do that?
Of course, you can do it if you like.
Okay.
Part of the,
I thought it just use it in front of the shrine and That's it.
Yeah, you can use it wherever. I know in the book, part of the exercises in the book is they tell you to divine every day for 30 days. So that you can kind of get used to it and take notes on what you get. Take notes on how the shells fall. Take notes on the questions that you ask, and you'll start to notice that your questions are getting better. You're asking more specific, more detailed questions, and see what answers you get, and you can start to notice maybe some consistency in some of the readings that you get. But I actually use different divination systems as well. I'll use Obi sometimes. Lately, I've been into I Ching a lot. I really like that system. In the class, you'll also start to expand it a little bit. You'll start to use pendulums and things like that too. So you can use different types of divination. Like, you don't have to stick to one in particular. By trying different ones, you'll kind of find which one you have the most affinity for, But yeah, I mean, you can ask questions, as many questions as you like. I think the one important thing to note is not to ask the same question over and over again. But
I've never done that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not a problem at all. How have your studies and practices been with Obi so far?
It's been accurate, especially when I ask, eschew a specific question. It's been, pretty accurate, like, with everything. I use Obi to, communicate with my ancestors. Like, I mean, talking through Obi, but I just thought it was you had to only use it, right around the house in front of the shrine. And, I didn't know that, I could carry it around on me and just do divination, real quick, somewhere if I had to, just to get a, spiritual consultant of, what we are saying. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
So I learn something every morning.
For me, again, with Obi, you have like your mat and everything that you use with the Obi. I have seen people not, I'll say priests. So this may be different, for people who are not initiated or whatever. I have to check and see. But they can, pretty much cast, wherever, using the mat or not using a mat, So I'll have to ask Chief about that. I'm not sure. But I found that like with I Ching, I'll use the coin method. So I always, that for me, that's less visible, and it's easier to carry around than the Obi. It's less of a, it's like less of a production. With the Obi, you break out the mat, you get, you break out your the water, your air, your earth,
the
you
white cloth,
okay, you break out all of those things. So like with the I Ching or with the 3 coin methods, it's like I just kind of whip that out right quick and do a cast. But sometimes I'll use 3 at the same time. I also have like those animal cards, which is kind of like tarot. So sometimes I'll use the I Ching, the Obi, and the cards, at the same time, and compare what I get, see if they're consistent or see what each one, is telling me. Most of the time, they're going to be pretty much in sync with each other, is what I found. But yeah, I mean, you can use it. As far as I know, you can use it wherever or whenever. Which one are you working on? 5 position or 9 position?
I'm steady with the 5 position right now, just because that's basic. I understand that, thoroughly.
Straight yes or no
question. So I use that for right now.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So when
I didn't know that, man. I thought you could only use it for just, spiritual, beliefs and everything like that. But I usually, be having situations going on, and I be wondering like, could I cast Obi for this? And will I get
that's
right answer?
Yeah, that's considered spiritual. That's what we consult for.
Okay.
Like what energies are working with me today? What's going on? What's going on with me today? It's almost like like some people check the horoscope or check astrology, just to check the energies of the day to see what's going on, seeing how you should move or whatever. So I definitely say yes.
Okay, well, it's a go.
How's everything else going?
Everything's going all right, man. Everything is going, fine. I'm doing well. My kid, he's doing well. He's doing, everything's good. Can't complain at this point.
Awesome. That's great. Did you all how did the men's call for all the men on the line? Did you all have a good men's call? Was it last Sunday?
Oh, man, I missed it. I missed it. Oh my God! And I don't know,
I missed it too.
We had a good conversation.
Hello.
I missed it. I'm so sorry. I missed it.
Yeah, really good conversation.
We got wrapped up.
We're definitely tapping into initiatives. I think as soon as there was more people on the call this time. One thing I will say is that I think, I know it's probably the first time for a couple of guys that were there. So I would just make sure that, this is it's a safe space. What stays in the men's clubs, what's stated in the men's club stays in the men's club. But it's a safe space, man. It's a space for you guys to have conversations about what we need to have. So, one thing I will say is that direction and directives, I think that's one of the things that we'll be working on coming more frequently in the call. So that's very important, especially since we're all together. We can actually put like an initiative together.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. That's good. I brought you back in, Brother Tareem. I heard your car beeping, so I just muted you for a second, but you're back.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. That's good. So the men's group is growing. That's always great. So maybe you guys will, Brother Tareem and Joel, you can catch it the next time. But you all communicate outside of just those once a month meetings as well too. So that's also good.
Yeah, we had a Friday hangout. We had a Friday hangout session last Friday. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, we did.
The boys were acting like boys on the phone. A lot of men talking, but it was good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
We stayed up till like 3 o'clock, man, talking.
Woo! 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, man. We was going at it. It was funny.
Wow. What time did you start?
What time did we start? Around like 11 or something like that.
Wow.
Man, as soon as I got off of work, at 7, and we just kept on calling me, and we just kept on linking up calls. Like we had, like throughout the whole nighttime, it's like everybody started coming in. The only person I didn't talk to was Brother Charles. His brother Zach called in, Kareem called in, Dietrich called in, Joel, and Justin. Zach and Justin is the only people that we didn't. Charles and Justin is the only people that we didn't talk to that day.
Okay.
It just kept on. It's like as soon as I got off the phone with somebody else would call me, and they'd be on the phone with somebody else. It's pretty cool, man. Like I said, we were hanging out. We were doing the phone hangout.
I spoke with Brother Randy too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Cool.
Nice. So y'all are all hooking up. That's good. I just want to announce to everybody on the line, we've got about 13 minutes left in the show. If you'd like to call in and make a comment, or if you have anything you want to add to the conversation or ask a question, the number is 515-605-9862. Just press the number 1 and I'll make sure to get you in. We've just kind of been talking about Ancestors and OB and Archetypes and Cigars. So we just kind of been vibing on that whole thing. I know it's pretty early in the dawning for a lot of people. You got to still wake up a little bit mentally, but we are here to help you get it going. Get it started. Try to play a little music to wake you up a little bit. Little Michael Jackson. I saw this really good documentary. I think Spike Lee did on Michael Jackson. It's just a whole off the wall album over the strong end, and it was just amazing. That's like my ultimate, favorite Michael Jackson album of all time. That album was just so amazing. So it was really good to get a lot of insight on, just how it was put together and just to watch him work and watch him perform and everything. I was like, gosh, this guy was so amazing and so much of a perfectionist. Like, he would still go back even after the song was done. He still picking out mistakes. I should have did this. I should have did that. Oh, I should have did this. And the song is like, it's perfect. You know what I mean? But he was such a perfectionist. He still go back and want to change things or do something different or whatever. But to just watch how he hears music, before it's even put down. You know what I mean? Just to watch how it works and hear the sound. I was like, this man was like just a human, almost like a drum machine in itself. Just the sounds he would make, the dance moves and everything. Like, you could hear music without any music there. So
right.
Gosh,
it's just amazing how he made, like, he didn't make regular videos though. He made like movie videos. It was like a storyline behind his videos, like how we did Thriller. It's like, he made it was like a TV show. You know what I'm saying? When he came out. So I thought that was amazing too. He's just an all-around entertainer, period.
Yeah. He was an innovator when it came to music, seriously. And he was like, he knew what his purpose was beyond a shadow of a doubt. And he said that. Yeah. And, they were asking him, did he ever think he was going to stop? He was like, no. He's like, I got so much in me. He's like, I got to get it out. And I remember someone asked him a question about, did he feel bad about, breaking away from his brothers, when he went solo or whatever? And he was like, no, not at all. He was like, his brothers understood. And it was because he had so much he wanted to do himself and so much he wanted to get out. He just wanted to be able to get out and just express all of that stuff himself, and, I was just thinking about, he did, man. I mean, thinking about Archetypes, and just some of his influences, like Stevie Wonder and James Brown and, all these excellent, musicians or whatever. It was just amazing, again, to watch. Yeah. And some of the musicians and everything that were used on the albums and, the new techniques that were in music that he was using that nobody else was doing at the time. It just gave me a whole nother appreciation for that particular album. That album was just amazing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think too. The one with Off the Wall, the one you were talking about, that's the one before Billie Jean or right after Billie Jean?
That was before. That came out, I think, like in 70.
Okay, that's the one with
that was like in 79.
Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He went in on that one.
Yeah, that was in 79. Was that the first one?
I believe that was his first album, solo.
Okay.
His first solo album,
1979.
But my favorite is Beat It, man. Beat It is the album for me, man. The Thriller.
Beat It is the one for you?
Yeah, I grew up on those two, so it's like that's my favorite album, man.
What was your favorite song on that one?
Beat It.
Beat It.
but I like.
You went out and bought the jacket and everything, huh?
Yep.
My mama had me in the real jacket.
Hey, I had a red one.
You had a red one?
Yeah. Every little boy probably had a red one.
I actually had a glove too, man. I actually had a glove too.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
The glitter socks? Don't tell me you had the glitter socks with the penny loafers.
Nah, I didn't have the glitter socks. Man.
Yes, we can blame Michael. We can blame Michael for the jerry curl, the red jacket, the glove, the socks, and the penny loafers. And the
I'll go and get it again too, just to have them back for real.
I'm serious.
I'm telling you, y'all, that Earth song though, you heard that Earth song?
Mm-hmm.
That's the song that really touched me, man, with Mike. Like, God, that's a beautiful song right there, though.
Yeah.
That Earth song.
Amazing music. Yeah.
He went in on that one. Micah had you crying and everything. Micah, touch your soul, boy. That's how Mike is, though. It was just a real perfectionist, though. Real perfectionist.
Yeah. He was, man. He was.
Real entertainer, boy, for real, until he was 50, 55. What? Yeah.
Think about the level of mastery. Level of mastery. Like you were just saying, I would love to see that documentary you were watching. But I'm pretty sure,
the name of
like
it.
he was breaking his plateaus and limitations every time he got a song. So every time we think the song is perfect, he's already saying, "Oh no, it's got to go a step up." He's finding ways to break past that border. And then even that, think about it. Like a lot of the dance moves, a lot of the music, the way he's the one that invented the storyline videos. You know what I'm saying? MTV, he's responsible for MTV. Think about that. So he was so innovative that he opened up the vibrations for a lot of things to be developed to where they are. Amongst the fact that we let other people, amongst the fact that we let other people outside of that community take control of it, but the innovation you can't say he didn't do that. A lot of that stuff, man, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that even right now, you talk about Usher. Usher will tell you one of his mentors and dancer was Mike.
Yeah.
So, he's responsible for keeping creating a whole another genre from his genre.
Yeah, you can hear people like biting a lot. Oh, I don't say biting, but taking a lot from just that one particular album, just in a lot of different artists today. From the way he sang to the music and the beats itself. Oh, by the way, the name of that documentary is Michael Jackson's Journey from Motown to Off the Wall. Is the name of the documentary by Spike Lee. Really good documentary. Just came out last year. But if you get a chance, check that out. It's a really, really good documentary. I enjoyed it. I really did. I remember watching this interview too that Miles Davis did when he was speaking about Michael Jackson, and he was saying that he could see so many different influences in him. He said, I think Charlie Chaplin was one, Prince, and James Brown. You know what I mean? So I remember also during this documentary he was talking about, because Stevie Wonder did a lot of the work on that album too. And he was talking about just how amazing Stevie Wonder is. And there was a clip where he showed him in the studio working with Stevie Wonder and just watching him, just almost like, he's like a little kid at this time, just looking at Michael, how he was studying Stevie Wonder. Was just amazing in itself. And he's, Stevie's another one of those artists, like Tareem said, he touch your soul, he bring those tears out. I know Stevie, for me, like, it's hard. It's hard for me now, even as an adult, to listen to some of his work, because it's so emotional. It just brings out so much emotion, so much in it.
That's like Prince as well.
That's
like Prince.
Yeah. I'm telling you, put on some Beats by Dre headphones and turn it up and listen to it.
Yeah.
It'll speak to your soul.
Yeah. I mean, that album had some of the...
What am I supposed to do? Be a fool, just alone waiting for you. That's my favorite one from Stevie, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm telling you that another thing that off the wall album has some of the funkiest bass lines ever.
Oh, hold on.
Oh my gosh, the bass lines in those songs. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The bass lines in that album were just amazing. Amazing. Wow. Yeah, it was some good stuff on that one. Some good songs on that one. I think, one of the particular ones I remember was Get on the Floor. I think the guy, what's his name, from Brothers Johnson, Louis Johnson did the bass line on that song. That was just, whew, that bass line was amazing. That was one of the funkiest bass lines ever. But yeah, so today, if you get a chance, break that album out like Brother Tareem said, and put your Beats by Dre on or whatever. I prefer a different brand, but different brand of headphones. Break out some good headphones and just vibe out to it for a while. Yeah. And you know what? Another thing that's interesting, in the first exercise on in the training, when we were talking about the entity that comes through or whatever and everything. And I think Brother Dietrich was saying that he heard something. For me, the energy that came through was the name Michael came through, and it was a song that came through with it as well. And just out of the blue. And I tell you, I have it written down in my notes, but I can't even remember which song it was. But that was just so amazing to me. It just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even necessarily like my favorite one, but it was just that particular song just came through. So that made me think of it too.
Oh man!
Kim, you just reminded me of something. I was doing that exercise again, right, the other night, and I was probably about an hour and a half sitting, right. So for the first 30, 45 minutes, I was speaking to the that right, and then I kind of I kind of sent him off on his way, and then I was just sitting there still in my meditation, and I had two people appear, or two things appear. I had inside of my reflection, I seen two women came. Inside of my reflection, it was a woman that I thought, the first thing that came to my mind was, that's my wife. All right?
Wow.
And the second one, which was not in my reflection, which was to the side of her, was like an elderly woman. And I was worried that maybe I'm throwing off the energy from this exercise by doing that. But those two energies, when they came to me, it's like I knew who was inside of my reflection, but I didn't know who the other one was. And one of the thoughts that came in was Ajay Saluga. So I was thinking that was her, and I was thinking that was just two versions of her. You know what I'm saying? The one that was inside of me, and the one that was outside of me. The older one being the older energy, and the one that's inside me being the newer energy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean,
you are the money man. So maybe you need to do some work with that energy.
I probably do.
Ajay Saluga. Yeah, Ajay Saluga deals with money, so maybe you need to do some work with that energy, especially if that's like the first thing that came to your mind. Usually that's what it is. The first thing that pops out, before we have a chance to sit and analyze it and question it and doubt it and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, go with the first thing.
When I seen the one that was inside of my reflection, like the first thing that came there is that was my wife. You feel me? And then the one next to it was the one the first thing that I said was Ajay Saluga. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
yeah.
But I think it was.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I think it was just like a combination of her, and I think maybe just a newer energy, or it might have been something, a reflection of something that, a reflection of what I need, my wife, you know what I'm saying? And where I got to go. So there's a lot of things inside of that vision that I had, but it was it was an experience. It was really an experience. I didn't, and the thing I kind of regret not asking is like, I think I got who they were. I didn't ask what do they want or what do I need to do, or ask them questions.
Yeah, I would definitely start to research that energy. Maybe you need to, you know what, you were saying that you do a lot of different rituals or whatever. Maybe that's one that you should stick with for a while. You know, usually when an energy comes through that strong for you, it's best to kind of explore that particular energy for a while. Like, stick with it and really learn the mythologies behind it. Learn about that energy for a while. I would definitely do some research on that if I were you.
I definitely will.
Today's a good day to start too, being a money day.
Jay. Ojo Ajay.
Ojo Ajay, that's right. Definitely look into that. I would if I were you. Yeah. All right, so we have actually come to the end of the show. Does anybody have any last words or questions or anything? Going once, going twice. Before we close, we got a few callers on the line that are, they're just kind of hanging out, listening. If there's anything you'd like to say, make sure you press the number 1. But I wanted to remind you all, make sure you are checking your emails and make sure you don't have the email blocked so that you can kind of stay in the loop of what's going on with the challenge and all the emails and things that are being sent out. If you have any questions, again, you can send them to questions@anunation.org. Let's see, SaduluHouse.com for classes, SeriousBitch.com for rituals. Let's see, what else? There's a lot going on. That make sure you definitely check out the challenge. And if you're not a student, get registered. It's an amazing transformational course, I think, for everybody. It's definitely something that I think would help everybody out. So again, thank you all for calling in. I hope it got your dawning off to a good start. Anwar's got some things to work out with Ajay Shaluga. Brother Tareem has told us to get some good headphones and check out Off the Wall today. Check out the Off the Wall album. So I will that everybody, and also Brother Joel studying the Ancestors. Get that Ancestor shrine set up and get your communication going there as well. So got a lot of good and a lot of good energy in the conversation today. So thank you all for calling in and supporting and continuing to support the show. And let's see, tomorrow we'll be back from 1 to 3 Eastern. All right. So make sure you check us out. Call in if you have a chance, and we'll be back tomorrow. All right. Everybody, enjoy your dawning. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace.
Peace.